From 1986 to 2007, I experienced 8 Presbyterian youth trienniums with 5,000 senior high youth gathering for a week in July at Purdue University in Indiana. I led 3 adults and 40 senior high youth from our presbytery as we were transformed by our experience. The last hymn of my first triennium was "Here I Am, Lord," written a few years earlier by Dan Schutte. I had never heard of that hymn. I had never wept while trying to sing a hymn either. I guess the triennium experience can transform the lives of adults as well as youth. In 1989, as the Iron Curtain became sheer drapes, our presbytery began to support the Reformed Church Seminary in Saraspatak, Hungary. The Hungarian church, which had gone underground in the tomb for a half-century of Russian communist rule, was being resurrected. In 1995, the son of a bishop from Hungary, I better say that one right. In 1995, the son of a bishop from Hungary went with our group to the triennium. His name was János Bán. Our transportation had improved from renting several vans we drove to renting one coach and professional driver for the 45 of us. The first sign language from János to me was on the bus about 7 a.m., a big M. It was time for breakfast, and the omnipresence of McDonald's broke all language barriers. When we gathered at our dorm at the enormous and hot campus, I showed János his schedule and where he was to meet with all the other international students that afternoon. I told him I would come get him at 1:30 in time to walk to the 2 o'clock meeting. I went to his room at 1:25, no János. I went to each of the other mail rooms, no János. I sent a woman to check their rooms in case he hadn't understood the boundary rules, no János. My only consolation was that I didn't speak Hungarian, so I wouldn't be the one to directly inform the bishop I'd lost his son. After all the frenetic searching I could stand, I went to the International Center on campus to confess my failure. When I walked in, there was János, sitting in the midst of the 2 o'clock meeting with all the other international students, right where he was supposed to be. I was so relieved and thankful. And for all my worry, I received the gift of a sermon illustration for Luke's story about Jesus when he was 12 that would preach for the rest of my life. What if each of us is right where we're supposed to be? What if you and I are invited to learn the lessons God is teaching us through all our current crises? It'd be such a pity if we didn't grow, change, become transformed in the various social situations we find ourselves in. What a tragic waste of the opportunities our varied challenges give us if we remain firmly fixed in place, instead of learning the spiritual lessons available only through suffering. What would my life look like if I focused on where I am and where God is inviting me to go, instead of frantically worrying about where you are and telling you where to go? How would your life look if you tried that too?